I want to ask you a question about your work environment. How many safety experts do you have? Do you have one safety manager that's trying to drive all the safety efforts? If so, they've got a real challenge ahead of them. In one of the large factories that I worked in, we decided we wanted everyone to be a safety expert, and I'll explain why. As your senior trainer and someone who is responsible for safety, I would often use a story of a dragon slayer to explain why everyone needed to be an expert on safety. So let me tell you the story. So grab a cup of coffee, it's story time. A long time ago, there was a kingdom that had a problem with dragons, as most mythical kingdoms had trouble with. But they had a dragon slayer and a dragon lookout. Well, one morning the dragon lookout sounded the alarm. One dragon heading for the castle. Our trusty hero grabbed his sword, jumped on his steed, rode out, and cut the head off the dragon. Heading back to the castle, he was greeted by the cheers of the people. Confetti flew. They popped some kegs of ale. They even fired up the gas grills, struck up the band. They partied down. The next morning, our hero got up a little bit hungover from the previous night's festivities, and he heard the dragon lookout sound the alarm. 2 dragons heading for the castle. Our hungover hero jumped on his horse, rode out, quickly cut the heads off both dragons. Heading back to the castle, he is once again greeted by the cheers of the people. Hail the dragon slayer, our hero. Confetti flew, they popped open some more kegs, fired up the gas grill, struck up the bands. Time to relax and party. Our hero didn't even make it to the salad bar when he once again heard the dragon lookout sound the alarm. 3 dragons heading for the castle. He jumped on his horse, rode out. He was tired. He was starting to hurt a little bit. He got bit on a couple times, but he's our hero. He is victorious. Cut the heads off all 3 dragons. Turns around, heads back to the castle, and he's starting to think, I'm getting a little bit tired of being the only one that fights dragons. Am I the only one who knows how to pick up a sword? Why can't someone else learn how to do this? About that time, he hears the alarm sound off. He hasn't even made it back to the castle yet, and he hears 4 dragons heading for the castle. He turns around and he gets ready to do battle again. Now he's no longer fighting for the glory of the kingdom and as a protector of the realm and the people. He's fighting out of anger and frustration. He gets bit on a few more times, but he's victorious. Here's our hero. Cuts the heads off all 4 dragons. Gets back to the castle, still hungover. His head is pounding. Gets off his horse. Walks over to the festivities. The stakes are gone. The band's putting up its amplifiers. The kegs of ale are empty. And he hears the dragon lookout sound the alarm. 5 dragons heading for the castle. Our hero draws his sword, walks over to lookout, cuts off his head. The moral to this story is if you only have one safety expert, one dragon slayer, sooner or later someone's going to lose their head. We have an infinite number of safety issues typically of dragons. We need more than one dragon slayer. So in some of the work environments and large areas that I worked with in companies, what we did was we trained everyone to be an expert. For the area that you worked in, we wanted you to know where the quickest exit was in case of a fire, where the nearest eye wash station was, where's the closest first aid kit, where did we have our fire extinguishers. Any safety related equipment that was in your area, we wanted you to know where it was and how to use it. We wanted you to know where the closest phone was, where our hazard instructions was for an emergency response. We had tablets explaining different emergencies by every phone in the facility so they could grab it and follow it. Every employee had the okay to call 911 if they felt the need to do so. We would rather have a fire truck show up and then say, hey, everything's fine, or an ambulance, rather than have a delay in getting them there. So we knew that it's very important that everyone saw themselves as a safety expert. We wanted them to see this as a part of their professionalism, that someone at a high level as a mechanic or in any business knows their environment, knows what they do, and safety is just a part of that. So I'll ask you again, in your work environment, how many safety experts do you have? Do your people understand all the hazards they could be exposed to? Do they understand the control measures on why they're so important? So you might consider using the Dragon Slayers story. Again, create Dragon Slayers. We really need everyone to be a slayer. If you have one safety expert, sooner or later, someone's probably going to lose their head. Brian McWhorter for Safeopedia.